On your mark, get ready, get set, gold, and some silver too. We will throw out the best we have at you, so don't walk, run to that favorite spot and jump right onto that couch. Sports Night is next.
Hello everyone, welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. We've got some fun stuff to talk about. Short show tonight, but fun stuff to talk about.
Very short, and the season over for most Cardinal athletes, but a handful are getting very excited for the biggest meet of the year coming up later this week. We'll talk about them at the end of the show. We'll start with the baseball team. Cardinals went into last week's playoffs feeling relatively confident despite being the 7th seed in the section. Cardinals just haven't had many bounces go their way this year, so they were feeling much better than what their record shows. And the first round put them up against an Andover team that they lost a close game to in regulation. They knew they had a good chance to come up with the upset. Cardinals start the scoring in the top of the second. Jaden Kopp takes a pitch off the shoulder with the bases loaded. The RBI hit by pitch brings Sammy Lee home, gives Coon Rapids the 1-0 edge. They add another in the top of the third. Lee at the dish this time. Soft single into shallow right field. Jared Fearing hustles home, and the Cardinals are up by a pair. Unfortunately, 2 runs was not going to be enough to upset the second-seeded Huskies. They get their bats going in the fourth. Keaton Coe with a shot to the gap in left center. Drew Law will score all the way from first, and that is going to cut the lead in half. But that was just the beginning of a big inning for the home team. 2 batters later, Patty Kelly able to send it back through the box. Coe will score from second to tie the game at 2. Andover had 5 hits in the inning, and the Cardinals made 3 errors to help them out. It went from 2-0 Coon Rapids lead to 5-2 Huskies on top, and that was all the cushion they needed. The Cardinals not able to find any offense in their final 3 at-bats. They had a couple of base runners, but they weren't able to threaten the Huskies' lead. Cardinals fall by a 5-2 score. Amazing what an inning can do. Take one inning away.
Yeah, it was unfortunate, and the Cardinals, like I said, they've had, when their bats have been going, they've played well, but when their bats are not going, unfortunately, they're not scoring a lot of runs, and just as you mentioned in that, 2 runs wasn't going to get it done.
Well, and they had a lead in the second game of the playoffs, trying to stay alive in the elimination bracket against Forest Lake. They were up 3-0 and 4-2 against the Rangers, but again, kind of ran into a wall. Had one really bad inning, a couple of errors, and Forest Lake put up 6 runs, and I don't remember if it was the bottom of the 5th or bottom of the 6th inning. Either way, Cardinals could not come back. As you take a look at the rest of the winners bracket, Anoka winning through the winners bracket. They are waiting the results from today, and I believe it's Forest Lake and Blaine. The winner of that will play Centennial, and then the winner of that game will play Anoka in the championship. Anoka, the number 1 seed, has played well, hasn't put up huge numbers, but this was really a section where it could have go to any team, whoever could get hot at the plate, and Anoka didn't end up needing to get that hot offensively because they've done such a nice job pitching and defense-wise.
Yeah, and Centennial, that game against Andover, they came back and scored a lot of runs, and we saw Centennial play. Cardinals beat them when we did the game earlier in the year, or in the beginning of the year. However, they hit the ball really well, and Centennial did a good job there, but unfortunately they fall to Anoka.
And that will do it for baseball and softball. Golf teams both had their section tournaments last week. Start with the boys. I got a really great text from Coach Tom Bruggers talking about how impressed he's been with this group. These are the best team scores that they've had in 5+ years. And guys just really getting lower and getting consistent in such a short time span is huge. Not the greatest rounds, but I mean, you got 80, 82, 82, 86, 87. I mean, that's when you have 5 guys that are in the 80s, that's outstanding. Devin Thompson did well enough to make the cut and get back for his second day. Had his best round of the season, had 4 birdies in that round on Thursday, but unfortunately not enough to make it to the state tournament. And so golf season is over. Girls golf team, same way. No one making it to the second round for the Cardinals. Eleanor Defoe finishes at 102. Sophia Meyer 20 strokes behind her. Caitlin Davis, and then Hill and Hogarth. Some much larger numbers than they would have liked. But again, it's kind of a weird animal, girls golf, because you play in such different ways. You play head-to-head for 9 holes all season long. You play a couple of tournaments, and 18 holes gets to be a lot. And if you looked at those scores, a lot of the girls struggling a bit more on the back half because they're not used to it. They're not used to playing that long, and staying mentally focused for 5.5 hours can be a lot. But good scores for the girls all season long as well, and good youth. So they've got a couple of seniors that they'll lose, but they're going to have some girls who showed some things this year, and hopefully will continue to improve over the next couple of seasons. Lacrosse teams started their section tournaments last week as well. Boys lacrosse team starting off as the number 11 seed. They lose to number 6 seeded Champlain Park by a 13-5 score. The Catbirds got 5 goals from 5 different players. Ryan Hexum also added an assist. Herzog, Leff, Ossie, and Hazelwood, the other goal scorers. But that is the end of their season, and you see Champlain Park not able to pull off the upset. So the number 2 and 3 seeds making it as predicted. Centennial with a big win over Hermantown 17-7, and Duluth relatively easily over Champlain Park 12-4. So they are on to the semifinal round. Girls lacrosse, they too were a low seed going into the tournament, and they started out against Forest Lake. They lose that one by a 19-1 score. Easton had the one lone goal for the Cardinals. Warnholz made 8 saves in the first half and then got some relief for the second half. She has been absolutely under siege all season long.
That's an understatement.
But as they have been heavily outshot game after game, and she has been in net for the entirety of their schedule up until the last half of that section game.
Yeah, it was a tough year for both lacrosse teams, more so for the girls than for the guys, but tough for both. And so as you talk about the brackets, it's
Chisago Lake, there you see that's how the bracket was supposed to play out. The 2 top seeds that had byes able to win and make it to that next round. But yeah, it's when you're the 12th team, 12th seed in a 12 team tournament, it's tough to advance. But we did kind of rush through all of that because I'm really excited about what's happening at the end of the show. Yeah,
we saved that. Should we say this? We saved the best for last.
We should just go. We did. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, the Cardinals track and field team will be well represented this week's state championship. Just an amazing showing by both squads at section meet last week. The girls finished 7th as a team, but crowned 1 champion and 2 runners-up to qualify. The boys finished 2nd and brought home more hardware than they've seen in years, possibly decades. No surprise to see red on the road for the big meet in Forest Lake. Kennedy Martinson running the 100-meter hurdles for the first time all season because of an injury, and she dominated, winning in a personal best of 14.23 seconds. Speaking of dominant, how about Christopher Dean and Jackson Smith running away from the pack in the 110-meter hurdles, finishing 1 and 2. Dean also won the 300 hurdles, and Smith was first with Dean second in the high jump. Pretty impressive. There's much more. Al Nyapan absolutely flying to a state tournament berth. He put up personal record at 22 feet 4 inches. He's finishing second. Sean Sullivan also posts a personal best in the pit, but his jump of 21.6 was 4th place, not enough to advance. Jackson Smith finished 6th. Kennedy Martinson again, this time soaring her way to qualify for state in another event. Her vault of 11 feet 10 inches is good for 2nd place, 3 straight seasons qualifying in multiple events. Peyton Martinick, well, he's had an incredible career as a Cardinal, a 3-sport athlete for 6 years. He misses state but puts up personal records in both the 16 and 3200, finishing 5th and 7th, respectively. The girls' 4x1 relay had an amazing run, but they came up just short. Michaela D'Souza is just edged out by Cambridge Asante, missing state by 2/100th of a second. D'Souza did qualify in the 200-meter. Well, the boys' 4x1, they're going to look for a return trip to the tourney, and they deliver. Sean Sullivan starts, Yaya Sibidi and Reggie Davis in the middle, and give this guy a lead. He's not going to get caught. Kaijan Cummings Coleman flying down the straight for the win in 42.24 seconds. Boy, can he fly.
Yeah, that's an anchor that just about any team at the state meet would like to have on their 4x1. That kid has some dangerous speed, but look at what this team did. Those are all top 10 finalist finishes for the boys team. I mean, Christopher Dean, he's qualified in 3 events. He's state or section champion in the 110-meter hurdles and the 300-meter hurdles, and he finishes as runner-up in the high jump with a jump of 6'3", which matches Jackson Smith's jump of 6'3", to be the section champion, and he's number 2 in the 110-meter hurdles. So they're each going in a couple of events. The 4x100 relay team going for the 2nd year in a row, hoping that they can make something happen in the biggest meet of the year. Al Neapan, as you mentioned, 2nd place in the long jump. But look at some of the others that were just super close. The 4x400 relay team finished in 4th. Reggie Davis had a 6th place finish in the 200-meter dash. There's a 6th place finish for Jerry Freeman in the 400. Peyton, we talked about. Elijah Tapla, 7th place in the triple jump. Yaya Sidibe was 9th place in the 100. Hayden Skilling, 6th place, and he just started throwing discus last year, I think. 6th place in the discus. Dennis was 8th in the shot put, and Logan Barker was 8th in the pole vault, going up and over at 11 feet 10 inches. Not quite as many top 10 finishes for the girls, but still some pretty impressive finishes. For Kennedy Martinson to be headed to state in multiple events for the 3rd straight year, knowing that her freshman year there was no spring sports. Right. Just absolutely amazing. Yep. Michaela D'Souza, so glad to see that she made it. She finished 3rd place in both the 100 and 200 last year. This year she does qualify as the runner-up in the 200. She just misses the 100 and finishes 4th place in the long jump. Nybal Jock, we talked about her a bit during the regular season because Kennedy Martinson was out of the running for the hurdles events. Jock did the job all year long. She's a junior. She'll be back. She was 3rd place in the 300, 4th place in the 100. And the 4x100 meter relay team also just missing with a 3rd place finish. Ruby Demmer finished 11th place in both the 16 and 3200. Michelle Lukic was 11th place in the pole vault, and Horton was 10th place in the triple jump. So just a phenomenal finish to the year for all of them.
Yes.
And it's not quite done for the fortunate few. There you see Kennedy on her way in both the 100-meter hurdles and the pole vault. Michaela D'Souza qualifying as the runner-up in the 200-meter dash. The boys, we don't have there's not enough room to put all of those guys on there, but just amazing. As we talked about, Jackson Smith going in 2 events, Christopher Dean going in 3 events. You got Al Neapan going in the long jump, and then the 4x100 relay team of Sean Sullivan, Yaya Sibide, Reggie Davis, and Kaijan Cummings Coleman. And best of luck to all the Cardinals. We hope to be talking about some all-state finishes, maybe some state championships.
Let's hope so. Yeah, certainly congratulations.
But how cool is it for Smith and Dean to finish 1, 2 in 2 different events?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's amazing.
It is amazing. And I remember, we'll go all the way back to the football season, talking to Coach Sullivan, and saying, wait till track comes. We've got some athletes. We've got some guys that are just going to amaze. And he was right. And what a great showing. So congratulations to the guys and the girls who made it. Good luck to you.
Well, and I remember walking out when we did the preview, and the first time I saw Jackson Smith running down, I was like, Wow, he's even faster
Yeah.
than I knew he was fast from basketball
Yeah.
season, but that's a short distance.
It is. It is.
And he's got some hops too,
Fun.
obviously, going
Yep.
up and over.
Well, we wish him all the
better
best.
than 6 feet, absolutely. And we hope to have some really, really fun stuff to talk about next time. But that's going to do it for this edition of Sports Night. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young, saying good night.